That's right, roller coasters make noise. A lot of it. From the click-clack sounds you hear on the lift hills to the screams on the midway, amusement parks are noisy places. If you dial back on the screaming, you're left with the completely mechanical sounds made by all of the systems that make roller coasters run. If you are like many other roller coaster enthusiasts, some of these sounds can be pure bliss. It's important that we establish a few points of common understanding. The first thing I will mention is that I have a whole series of videos asking and answering various questions about roller coasters, and many of the different systems that I'll be talking about here have been featured in these videos before. Check in the description below to see a link to all of these videos. Roller coasters come in a huge variety of shapes and sizes and have many different factors that contribute to the sounds they make. This comes down to the style and material of the track, the propulsion mechanism used, and the systems around the ride area as well. On an unrelated note, if you like our content, be sure to support us on Patreon, as this will continue to help Katie and I produce even more of the content that you love. Tiers start at only $1 a month, and you'll gain access to exclusive content by supporting us there. One of the first things you may notice on a roller coaster is the roar it produces while it travels through its course. This sound can vary greatly between coasters due to a number of factors. Did you know that most roller coaster tracks are hollow? In fact, it is quite rare for there to be completely solid pieces of track. We really only see solid pieces on the rails which the trains ride along, since these bear the largest amount of weight. So when you knock on roller coaster track, what does it sound like?
Not like much.
Not like much. The spines on most steel roller coasters are generally hollow and are the cause for the largest amount of noise produced by them. Some parks have residential land near their borders, so they may often fill these hollow spaces with sand as an easy way to cut down significantly on the noise made by these coasters. Wooden coasters produce their own unique sound as well. The loudest track rumble you can hear is from the steel wheels on the train vibrating back and forth between the metal running rails on the track. You see, since wood isn't as strong as steel, their support structures are far denser and feature a lattice-style design in order to support their weight. This lattice design acts as an amplifier to these sounds, and thus create the signature sound of a wooden roller coaster. Some rides have installed a scream barrier as a way to help mitigate sounds that may otherwise leak into the neighborhoods around the park. These are often on the side of or above the track and help enclose some of the sound the ride produces. Moving on, we have lift hills. Lift hills are full of a lot of mechanisms that create a whole variety of sounds. One of the most iconic sounds you can hear is the anti-rollback devices. These devices often create that recognizable ratcheting sound as the train moves up the lift hill. As seen in this diagram, these parts slide up the ramp slopes and come down with a loud clunk as they impact the lowest point on the next ratchet. Some of these are louder and some are quieter than others. Often, on newer rides, manufacturers install rubber pads that soften the impact of these anti-rollback dogs that, in turn, quiet their impact. Then you have manufacturers like Rocky Mountain Construction who seemingly have no care in the world and make their lift hills as loud as possible. It's like they're trying to make a statement. Some lift hills use different mechanisms like LSMs or cable lifts, which can make a much different sound. In fact, most coasters with a cable lift mechanism, which are built by Intamin, only produce one major sound. That would be the sound of the spinning motor that pulls the cable along and results in the movement of the train up the lift hill. These coasters still have the anti-rollback devices, but are heavily padded so as to dampen the sound. On most other coasters, you can likewise hear the sound of the powerful engines used to lift the trains, but this can often be drowned out by the clanking of the safety systems. Anti-rollbacks are behind a coaster enthusiast's favorite sound: the iconic clanking of an Aero Development's lift hill. I mean, just listen to it. Roller coaster launches produce some of the most varied and interesting sounds in my opinion. This comes from the variety of systems used to launch them. There's flywheel, hydraulic, magnetic, and tire-driven launches. Flywheel launches are a lot less common these days, but produce a hum from the motor pulling their cable along. Hydraulic launches create a loud whirring sound as their cables are pulled along at incredibly high speeds. Magnetic launches, which feature either linear induction motors or linear synchronous motors, make a few different sounds. Some of the older coasters with LIMs make a distinct humming sound as all of their magnets power on and off intermittently to propel a train forward. These were more common on classic Premier Rides launch coasters. Next, we have LSMs, which can produce a few different sounds. My favorite rendition of their sound can be found on Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens Tampa. While I don't fully understand the mechanics behind how these sounds are made, it has been said that the electromagnets use alternating polarity to propel the train forwards. These magnets use direct current and are controlled by inverters. These inverters supply the huge amount of power needed to operate these systems, and in turn make a ton of noise. You can find a similar example on electric cars. They are far quieter than combustion engines, but still produce sound from the electricity moving through their motors. To reiterate, the sounds they make are caused by the vast amounts of electrical current that passes through their systems. Like snakes, roller coasters hiss a ton. Most modern braking systems are controlled by pneumatics that push air into their systems to release a captured train. Not all coasters have this style of brakes, but it is extremely common. These brakes come into contact with flag plates on the bottom of a train and function similarly to rotary brakes on a car. There are two pads that enact pressure on these flag plates and slow the train down to a complete stop. The hissing you hear can likewise be found in systems that are not directly in control of braking systems as well. For instance, on rides like King Ka and Storm Runner, the pneumatic systems lower magnetic braking fins that clear out of the way for the launching trains. These rise back into place as a precaution. This system allows a train that hasn't cleared the top hat to return to the launch track in a safe manner that renders the possibility of a dangerous collision extremely unlikely. In fact, with how the computers control the ride, this chance of collision is so low it may as well be zero. Let's move on to the next noisemaker. On the restraints that do make sound, they often have a ratcheting system that ensures the restraints can't loosen during the ride's course. As a ratcheting restraint is lowered, you can hear the sound of it clicking several times. The quiet restraints use a system of locking pneumatics to prevent them from changing position throughout the ride course. I won't get too far into detail with these, as I have a whole video planned soon that will discuss the mechanics of these systems in detail. While it isn't entirely common, there are times where people can find themselves in the ride area of an operating roller coaster. Many rides have an alarm system that is meant to denote when a ride is about to dispatch, as a way to communicate to these individuals that the ride area must be cleared immediately or they risk serious injury.
Riders, please prepare for launch. Place your head against the headrest behind you and hold on to the handrail in front of you.
Other alarms can be found on rides that feature some sort of movement on the ride platform, letting ride operators know not to put themselves in an unsafe position. Rides built by B&M, such as their floorless, dive, and inverted models, all feature floor panels that move in and out of place to accommodate loading of the trains. When these systems are in motion, alarms blare out to let everyone on the platform know that they should stay out of potentially unsafe areas. These alarms serve as a perfect communication tool and can often be heard far and wide, exactly as they are intended to. If you're like me and are a bird person, you may think your parrot is the loudest thing ever, constantly screaming in your ear. But spend time in an amusement park and you'll find that a parrot is far quieter than any roller coaster. Aside from this, do you have a favorite roller coaster sound? Do you have a particular sound that you don't like? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and comment below and hit that bell icon. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters, Nathan Martin and Future Collective. $1 a month helps me bring even more content to you guys, and I even have some exclusive content coming, so check it out. Check the description below to find links to the rest of our pages. Thanks for watching the video, and ride on, Coaster Maniacs.